It's a new month, even though we're about halfway through it now. But that means it's time once again to unbox yet another shipment of retro video games. What's going on, Grim Crew? Welcome back to my gaming dungeon. I am the Grim Gamer. My friends call me D. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you for being here for another video. If you've watched my channel for a little while, you've seen over the last couple of months that I've been getting some of these retro game boxes like this for the past couple of months. And it didn't start out this way, but it kind of ended up turning into a little experiment. I've gotten 2 boxes over the past couple of months, each one of those boxes from a different service provider, from a provider of a service like this. And after the second one, I decided that I want to try yet another one. And this comes down to, it's basically morphed into an experience or an experiment where I'm going to try 3 different service providers for this type of service and just compare them, see what I get. And, well, the third box is finally here, and that means it's time to crack this thing open, see what I got, and I guess end this little experiment. And if you're interested how the other 2 went, they're going to be links for the other 2 unboxings, and I'm going to, in the next week or 2, do a comparison video of these 3 boxes that I have gotten over the past couple of months. I'm going to be comparing what I got, their price points, just my overall experience with those boxes, and my individual feelings and opinions about each service. So for this third provider, I decided this time to go with Video Games Monthly. Video Games Monthly, I have seen probably the most about other people getting this service. It's the one that I'm, I guess, most familiar with other people's unboxings and just things that I have seen. And from what I've seen from other videos and things of the like, I like what I see. So I'm very curious about what I'm going to get in this box. So as part of that comparison that I had just talked about, I decided that for the consoles that I wanted to get games for from this box, I chose the original 3 that I did from the first box that I had done, which was the original PlayStation, the Sega Genesis, and the Nintendo GameCube. And that way I can kind of compare what kind of games and in what condition I'm going to get those games for those consoles from the individual services. I tried to do that with the second box too, but that didn't really work out that way. Again, you need to go watch that one to see what I mean. Now, I have paid for the 5-game box. The nice thing about Video Games Monthly is they have a couple of different plans that you can choose from. You can choose 3, 4, 5, 10, or I think even 20 games now. And obviously varying in price. I paid $55, that is including the shipping, and yes, I include that because that is money coming out of my pocket. It's still money I have to pay, so yes, I count that. So $55 for the 5-game box, and once again, just like last month and the other service provider, I got kind of lucky. Because when I went to sign up for the one last month, they said, well, if you sign up between such and such date and such date, we will give you a discount on your first box. So, well, that was kind of a nice surprise. Well, when I went to change service providers and then go with Video Games Monthly, I saw on their social media that they were running something special. And it said, if you were to sign up between such and such date and such date, we will just toss in an extra game for you. And, well, I like extra games. Do you like extra games? I love extra games. I mean, I don't know anybody who doesn't like extra games, but I like extra games. So I am hoping that there should be at least 6 games in this box. And I've also seen in some other people's unboxings that you can get a 1-up or 2-up, and they'll just toss in a few other extra games. And so I paid for the 5-game box, hoping for 6, maybe even more. So all that is left to do now is to free this from its priority mail prison. Jay from Square Pegs, that one was for you. And crack this bad boy open and, you know, see what we got here. So, as I said, the consoles that I chose were the original PlayStation, the Sega Genesis, and the Nintendo GameCube. And I am mostly looking for and hoping for, I guess I should say, GameCube games. The GameCube is a library that I'm not very familiar with. I didn't have a GameCube for very long when I was younger. I have one now, and GameCube games are just getting harder to find in decent condition at a decent price. So even if there are GameCube games that I will be getting in these boxes, I don't expect them to be, you know, big high dollar ones or anything like that. It might be kind of bottom of the barrel, like, you know, GameCube games, but still they'd be GameCube games nonetheless. So we have our box here. We've got Floyd there on the front. Again, I apologize, just like last time, for this lighting. I still don't have it quite down yet, and it's kind of making my camera freak out a little bit. But the video games monthly box, we got Floyd there on the front. Not as flashy of a box as a couple of the other service providers that I had gotten, you know, with the either looking like a certain thing or artwork on the front, you know, by an artist, but it's not the box that matters. It's what's inside the box that matters. So we're going to crack this thing open and see what we got in here. Now, I'm going to do this the same way as I have done my other unboxings, where I am going to open it. I'm going to do a blind feel, kind of see if I can rummage around, figure out what's going on in here, see if I can kind of tell what kind of games we're looking at. I will show them to you individually, one by one. I will show you a little bit of gameplay from those games and give you my thoughts and opinions on the little bit of gameplay that I do, and then wrap this whole thing up with my overall thoughts and opinions, the overall value of the box, and just what I think of my overall experience with this. So here we go. Box is open. I believe that is a card. That is our social card, and I do have the 1-up, and I'm going to assume that that 1-up is the additional game from their social media post that they were telling me about when I signed up, so I will have that additional game in here, so that makes for 6 games. This also tells you that you need to update your list with the games that they give you, and you can post a picture of your box on social media, and they will enter you in a raffle, or well, it just says to, okay, let me just read this. Post your box to social media for a chance to win 3 free games in your next box. They will choose one random winner every month, so that's really cool. Post on social media what it is that you got in their box, and you have a chance to win yet more games, which is always an amazing thing. So we've got, I've seen in other unboxings that I have seen that there's other little extra stuff in here some of the time. I don't feel that right away. There's bubble wrap. Oh, I'm hearing something. It sounds kind of like a button. If I can find and get to it, I would like to get that first. I'm hearing it. Ah, there it is. Sorry, it's taking me forever. But okay, yeah, it's a little button. So again with this lighting, but Floydomania button. So yeah, they like to throw little extra goodies in their box for you. So now, again, sorry. Let's see what we got here. Again, I'm hoping for GameCube games. That feels like a regular jewel case, although that does feel cracked. That's not great. A second jewel case, so maybe that's 2 PS2 games. There's some very slim jewel cases in here, so those could be PS1 games, and they might also be GameCube games, but that means they're not in the original case, and that would be fairly disappointing. And 2 Genesis cartridges here. So I guess we'll start out with the cartridges first. So we'll start with the Sega Genesis. And first up, we've got Toy Story. Toy Story on the Sega Genesis. Okay. I've played a little of this. Not a lot. And this is kind of another one of those, platformers of the day. But I haven't really sat down and played a lot of it. I think it was just like a demo or something I had played of it back in the day sometime. I'm not even sure where or when or how, but I know I've played a little of this. So let's break out the Sega Genesis. Let's hook it up and let's check out a little bit of gameplay from Toy Story on the Sega Genesis. Toy Story on the Sega Genesis. It's another Disney platformer. Now, it's based on a great movie, a movie I grew up with that's still good to this day. And from what it looks like to me, the story follows the movie pretty closely. It doesn't look half bad, and the sound effects and sound bites sound pretty good too. I only played for 10 minutes or so I don't know if you get to play as other characters, but I got to play as Woody. He can run, he can jump, and he can use his pull string to as a whip to interact with things and objects and whatnot. It's okay. As I mentioned before, I'm not a huge fan of platformers, and I'm not, but from what I've seen and what I've played, it's not a bad game. It's not a great game, but it's not bad. And the fact that it's Toy Story, one of my favorite Disney Pixar movies from my childhood, it gets a couple extra points. I don't mind having this one, and I'll just have to give it a little bit more playtime to see if I can really get into it. Overall, looks to be in pretty decent shape. Little nick on the top of the label there, but that's okay. So, yeah, second Sega Genesis game. We ready for this? Here we go. We've got... oh no. It's Family Feud. Family Feud on the Sega Genesis. By Game Tech. This is probably going to be terrible. I don't mind, like, some board game type games, Risk and Monopoly and things like that, but a game show type game, like if it's like this or Jeopardy or something like that, But regardless, let's check out a little gameplay from Family Feud. What do I even say about Family Feud on the Sega Genesis? This game is not good. Part of it, I guess, is it's a video game based on a TV game show, and one that I'm not even the biggest fan of anyway. Nowadays, it's not a terrible show to watch. I mean, it has its moments, and you get some jokes from the host, Steve Harvey, but this game has none of that. The gameplay is all typing, text-based, making it very slow. You get an occasional fan noise clip and this bad 16-bit game show music that continues to repeat over and over and over again, and that's about it. No dialogue from the contestants, no cheesy comments from a host. There's not really a host for this at all, honestly. No dialogue or even text saying, "Hi, I'm your host," which in 93 would have been Ray Combs at the time. Nothing. Just type in your family name, type out your answers, that's it. Now, I don't mind playing games based on games, like board games, Monopoly, Risk, Catan, things like that, but TV game shows, as a video game, not for me. This one, a huge swing and a miss for me. So that seems like that's it for the Genesis game. So we'll start with the jewel cases. There's two that feel like regular, like PS1 jewel cases, and there's two of them that are very, very thin. So, again, this one feels busted and cracked in the front. It's not a great sign, but we'll see what it is. Ready? Here we go. It is, what's that, Skydiving Extreme? I've never heard of that. But yeah, the case is busted up in the front, which is pretty disappointing. Luckily, You can just replace, like the front of these cases all day long. It's not really that big of a deal, but the inside of it, the disc is in, real nice and tight, and the disc looks pretty good. So I guess if nothing else, I could just replace the front case of this. But Skydiving Extreme, I've never heard of. I can only imagine this being so good. So let's hook up the OG PlayStation and let's check out some Skydiving Extreme. I've only ever flown once in my life. Well, twice if you consider the flight back. But even before that, I've always thought of skydiving like, who in their right mind would jump out of a perfectly good airplane? I just don't get that. You know what else I don't get? Skydiving Extreme. It's not for me. And for those interested in this activity, they're probably out there jumping out of a perfectly good airplane as I speak. So I wonder, just who in the hell was this game for? It's a team acrobatic skydiving game. And I want to say visually it looks okay, but I was too worried about the button prompts and combinations on the screen that I had to hit, other than worrying or paying attention to the rest of the visuals. Anyway, so I didn't get to really pay attention to really how it looks. And those button prompts, when you start getting into the combos, they don't give you nearly enough time to input those combinations anyway. And it was just frustrating. This game, it's not good. And not only is it not good, but for it to show up in this box in the condition that it's in, even more disappointing. I will not be holding on to this. Skydiving Extreme, it's got to go. I don't know about that game. All right, so next, again, another regular jewel case. So I'm going to assume another original PlayStation game. So here we go. What do we got? What do we got? Good one, good one, good one, good one. Oh, we got Spec Ops. Spec Ops Stealth Patrol by Take-Two Interactive. Well, this is yet another one. This one I've heard of. I've heard the name Spec Ops, but I don't know if it is this particular one. One of the tabs on the inside of this case is busted as well, but in the case real good, so that's nice. Disc looks pretty good. So choose stealth or all-out frontal assault as you lead your team of rangers into combat against an ultra-powerful terrorist units. So this kind of gives me the feeling that this will be like SOCOM, U.S. Navy SEALs, before SOCOM, U.S. Navy SEALs on the PlayStation 2. So, well, let's toss this into the PlayStation, and let's check out a little bit of Spec Ops Stealth Patrol. I've never played any of the Spec Ops games on the PlayStation, and there was like 4 of them. But after playing this for a few minutes, I don't see playing this one ever again. The controls sort of remind me of those older Army Men games, which isn't terrible, but it would take a little to get used to compared to games like this that we have today. Visually, it's bad, and I know. I mean, I get it. I mean, it's for the original PlayStation and was released a few months shy of 25 years ago now. But this initial area, it's empty, it's boring, it's dead. The draw distance is terrible. You can't see the enemies until they pop into the frame, and by then you've already been shot. You can select a couple different soldiers with various specialties, but that doesn't save it. There are plenty of other special operative type games out there that are way better than this one. So I'm going to be trading this one in as well down the road. Another one that's just not for me. All right, so 6 games in the box, 3 consoles I had chosen games for, and we are 2 for 2 currently, so a little bit of variety there. Got 2 other games left in here, but they are in some very, very thin cases, so I don't know if these will be PS1, maybe they'll be GameCube, but if they're not in the original cases, that's already quite a bit of a disappointment for me. So, but anyways, first one up, that is PS1, and that is TNN Motorsports Hardcore 4x4. This is yet another one that I remember like seeing the box art for, and so I've seen from time to time, but I've never played it. I'm, you know, like obviously it's got to be like a off-road racing of some sort, or maybe some kind of like a arena racer with 4x4 trucks, that sort of thing. So I don't really know, but there's only one way to find out. Let's pop it in the PlayStation 1 and let's see what hardcore 4x4 is all about. Okay, where do I start here? I guess I'll start by saying I've played worse games, but I've played better games. And hardcore 4x4 is that in some respects, and in others, it's not. For a game that's supposed to simulate racing, it doesn't do that very well. The action seems pretty slow. Didn't feel very racing-like to me. Now, the 4x4 off-road part, okay, they got that. You can't really race with speed, or you won't be able to keep these things on the track, though. And also, with no manual, I found out that apparently you can't use the DualShock analog sticks. You got to use one of the like original controllers. The controller won't function if you have the DualShock unless you have that analog like turned off on the controller and just use the D-pad. So that made it feel sort of awkward as far as controlling my truck. And again, it's not a terrible game, but on a console where you have racing games like Destruction Derby, Crash Team Racing, Jet Moto 2, Gran Turismo, Rallycross 2, there really isn't a need to play this one. This one probably getting traded also. And so here we go. Final game of the box. Box is empty. So this is the last chance for there to be a GameCube game. But still, it wouldn't be complete in box, so I guess at this point, to me, doesn't really matter. This is the extra game. Let's see what we got. It is a GameCube game, and it's Spy Hunter. Okay, so just last month for the PlayStation 2, I got Spy Hunter 2. And Spy Hunter is one that I had never played before that. And I played a little bit of it for, getting the video footage for that video of Spy Hunter 2. So now we add, I'm guessing, the original Spy Hunter to the collection, but this time on the Nintendo GameCube. So let's break out the GameCube. Let's pop in Spy Hunter and see how much different it is compared to its sequel. So, for the second month in a row, Spy Hunter for the win. I got Spy Hunter 2 for the PS2 in my last box, and now I have the first on the GameCube. Just like the second game, it seems like it could be a bit difficult, but not so bad that I wouldn't enjoy it. This one also has that James Bond-esque feel to it, with the car, the weapons, the fact that the car can transform for certain sections of the game or the level. This, just like the second game, is one that with a little time and practice I feel like I could get good at and have some fun with. And these Spy Hunter games are what I was hoping to achieve by getting these boxes. Getting games I never would have tried otherwise, and finding something I would like to play. I just wish I had better luck with them, though. But Spy Hunter and its sequel, I want to play more of. Unfortunately, it's a loose game, so no manual. And it took me a try or two to figure out some of the controls here, but I enjoyed it overall. Being a loose game, I feel like I may trade this one in too, but I would have no problem with replacing it with a complete in-box copy and hanging on to it. So there we have it. There are the 6 games in my video games monthly box. So next thing we need to do is head over to price charting, add up all of the prices and all of their value, and see if we can at least come close to that that $55 price tag. Well, I've added everything up. So did I make my money back? Was I ahead? Was I behind? Was I even close? Well, the answer to that latter question is no. It wasn't even close. And once again, that's extremely disappointing. So, again, with shipping and all, which, again, I do count, I paid $55 for this box. By the time I add up all of these games, that total comes out to $34.16. That is a difference of $20.84. Now, even if, let's just say, I didn't count the additional shipping, which is like $10. So if this was 45, and I subtract that 34.16, I'd still be out like $10.80 something. So technically I'd be a little bit closer. But with having the 6 games in this box, I would hope to have been pretty damn close. Some of the, well, actually, pretty much all of these really aren't worth anything. Toy Story, I think, is like, what, $6? And Spy Hunter is, even incomplete, just the disc by itself is, like $9.50. But the other ones, $5, $3, this is, the second box in 3 months now where I've gotten, as far as I'm concerned, nowhere close to the value of what I paid. And I was really, really hoping for that to be a lot closer. With this service, from the things that I've seen in the past from other people and the fact that there was an additional game thrown in, and this next part has nothing to do with them. You put in what consoles you want games for. They send you games for those consoles. There may be 2 of these out of the 6 that I might hang on to, and even those I'm not 100% sure of. Family Feud will probably get rid of. I will not keep that. Hardcore 4x4, I don't really know. And not complete, I don't know if I'd keep that anyway, unless I can find the manual and case for it. Skydiving extreme, it's skydiving, like Spec Ops, I'm not really, like Toy Story and Spy Hunter, and Spy Hunter is also disappointing because it's hell, it's not even in its original case. I'm just gonna say this. I'm probably gonna bring it up at some other time, but cartridge-based games, okay? I can understand how a lot of cartridge-based games are loose the way that they are. The Genesis, from what I understand and what I remember, mostly came in these like plastic like cases over here. I wouldn't think those would get thrown out, but it does seem like those are pretty rare also these days. When it comes to the other cartridge stuff, your Nintendo stuff and everything, they all came in cardboard boxes. Most of that stuff got tossed. I completely understand that. I get it. But disc-based stuff like this, you need something to keep it in. So where the hell is the case? And in that case, why would the manual not be in it? There's no reason to separate those items from each other as far as disc-based games go. I just don't understand that, and that does irritate me. If I can find the case maybe and a manual for Spy Hunter, I may keep it. If not, I might get rid of it and maybe try to find a complete version of it. So the games themselves, again, they just kind of just send you games. If they're not for me, they're not for me. That's not on them. That's not their fault. But once again, for the value of a box to be that far off, I'm not happy with. I'm not happy about that. And again, that's the second time out of the last 3 months. So, I mean, it is like a roulette almost with what you get with these services. But I would like, and I know they have to make money. And I guess if I just go by the original price and not with the shipping, then I guess I would be a little bit closer and a little bit closer to the point where I could accept it. But I, for one, include shipping because that's still my money that I'm paying. So, well, that's it for this unboxing. Most of these will probably get traded or something down the road, and maybe I'll pick up something else. Again, I plan on doing a comparison video of all three of the boxes I've got over the last couple of months, the pros and cons of each one. Again, that would all just be my opinion, of course, but things that I liked about one service, things that I didn't like, things that I wish the other ones had done, and just the games that I got in those boxes, the condition of which I got those games, and just my overall feelings and opinions of my experience with them. So stay tuned for that in the coming weeks. But that's going to be it for this unboxing video. Let me know in the comments if you're familiar with any of these games and which one may be your favorite, if any. And well, I guess stay tuned in the future to see if I'm going to continue doing any of these at all. I might actually have that answer in the comparison video. So until next time, I am D. I'm the Grim Gamer. We'll see you guys next time.